If you like this video, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell icon to get the latest updates.
So anything to discuss from the previous session?
No, we can start.
So let us, we were in the material material master screen.
Yep.
So what I'll do is I'll pick up one of the materials.
Okay.
Already created, because last time we didn't save it. So we'll go through one of the materials which has all the views. Material by, we go by material type. So we'll go by MRP1, MRP2, MRP4. Right, so we had covered the MRP1 and the MRP2. Yeah, somewhere I think we
had to start the last
last
few
field.
parameters in MRP2.
Yeah. So this week, I think we have stopped at the scheduling margin key.
Correct? Yeah.
So we have covered the in-house and the planned delivery time and all those things. So scheduling margin key is basically for production used in the MRP planning. So there are 3 different kinds of time. So this, I think, is a better depiction of scheduling this thing. So you have something called as an opening period. Then you have a float before production and float after production. Which, what does it mean? Is that opening period is order from the order creation date to order release date. See, what is the process of a production order? You create a production order, you release a production order, right? So, and then you do a goods issue to a production order, and then you do actually the goods receipt. Now, from the time, till the time the purchase the production order is not released, from the system perspective, the production has not started. If we release the production order, system assumes that the production activity in the shop floor has started. What we generally do is that whenever the production order is put into the shop floor and started, just creating production order creation doesn't mean that a production order work on the production order started. Only after you release it, that's more of a process thing. See, so this is called an opening period. So the order creation date to order release date. What is the time it takes? It takes, for example, 1 day, 2 days, or whatever it is. Then you have the order. Then when after the release date, when does the actual after production order starts, which is called the float before production. So you have a float. All these things are float before production. From the order creation date to release date to order, this thing is called a float before production. That it is time required from the time of creation of a production order till the time it actually order is started. Then you have the operation. Then this is routing. So then you have the actual production activity here, operation 10, 20, 30, 40. And then you have production finish date and float after production. What is it? After the production order is created, till the time it is actually received into the stock, what is the time that it takes? That is what is put into the scheduling margin key. If you now go back to the system and look at the scheduling margin key, these are all like operation opening period 010, float after production, this 10 days you say, float after production 001, float before production 002, release period 005. So depending on your requirement, what time you take, each one of them you put a time. So you basically define all your production. So what happens is, what is the significance of this? So this means that just because the production order has started doesn't mean that the production order is finished, doesn't mean that the stock is available. The end result has to be that after the production order is done, the stock should be available for sale, correct? That is what, if you're talking about the finished product. So Just because the production order is this thing, if you do not have any float, generally, if you do not have any lag time, then you just use 000, which is all 00. There's no, which means that moment a production order is created, it immediately basically work starts the shop floor, which means that there is no float before production. And then moment the production order is completed, immediately the stock is available. If that is the case, there's technically no float. But in reality, there is going to be some delays. There will be some preparations for the production order release. For example, if the production order has a lot of materials, so be a very big bomb, before the actually production starts, all the staging of the components are done, so that all the components are got from different bins and kept at one place.
Okay.
So that needs time. So and there might be there may be some setup time or whatever. So if you have that kind of a thing, then you define your scheduling margin keys as per your requirement and assign it.
Okay.
Okay, that is a schedule. This is purely used for production. Like whereas GR processing is something very similar to GR processing time. GR processing time is there both for production order and purchase order. Whereas scheduling margin key is the floats before and after production only for production orders.
Okay.
Okay, so then you have something called as a safety stock. I think that's a very common terminology used. The safety stock is over and above what you require at any point of time. You have some safety stock that is for some emergencies, some exigencies, or whatever. So you define some safety stock. Let's say I define 20 as a safety stock for this material. Whenever the stock, if the requirement is 20, if the requirement for this material is 10, and the stock is 0, then system is always going to plan for 120. Because what MRP does is it always tries to maintain the minimum safety stock. So that at any point of time you hit some deliveries didn't happen from the vendor or the production got delayed. So you have something in the stock so that the whole process is not going to stop. That is the purpose of the safety stock. But then safety stock is a very, very tricky topic. Billions of dollars are spent on that to arrive at the right safety stock, because if you see, it's a catch-22 situation. If safety stock is never used, then why do you need safety stock? Right?
Yes.
If safety stock is being continuously dipped into, there is something wrong in your process of planning.
Correct.
Right? So it's a very, very tricky topic. There are a lot of softwares which tries, because the thing here is that in the ERP, this is very static, because your planning situation is very dynamic, whereas this is very static. The planning situation, demand keeps on changing in the real time, whereas the same. So what nowadays, what a lot of softwares have come, we dynamically determine the safety stock depending on the situation.
Okay.
Okay, but whereas in ERP, it is in any ERP, it is a static value. Unless, say, for example, somebody has to analyze out of the system. If, say, for example, if safety stock is never being dipped into for 6 months, then somebody has to come and reevaluate, either make it 0, make it 10, or whatever, because there's a financial impact of it, right? So if 20 is not being used for 1 year, which means that you are overstocked. There's a value attached to it. So all those complications come into picture. It's easy to put
and the material also gets old and
exactly. If it has a shelf life and all those things, it gets old.
Yeah.
So that's why it's been tricky. So you have to be careful when you use this, because if whatever you put here, system during the planning, right, system always ensures that minimum safety stock is always there.
Okay.
Now let's go to the MRP3. So this is the flow before production. Let's go here. Anything else we have for safety stock? Now here is what we are called. Remember, I had said made to stock and made to order. How are you going to tell the system whether this particular material is going to be made to stock or made to order? This is done by something called as strategy group.
Okay.
Okay, the strategy group, SAP gives you a lot of strategy groups. Under make to stock itself, if you suppose if I take made to stock. Strategy group. These are all the strategy groups, 10, 11, 20, 21, 25, all different strategies, planning strategies SAP using.
So here
in-
also, do we make Z? Oh, we do. Okay.
I don't know whether in your system, because this is very complicated configuration, generally we don't create any custom strategy groups because the amount of impact it has on the planning is huge and the configuration which has to be done is huge.
Okay.
And generally we don't create a, this is a training system, so maybe somebody has just trying it out. But you can check it in your system if they have created. But as a rule, generally, because whatever is given is more than sufficient.
Okay.
More than sufficient. So 40 is wait to stop. 20 is make to order. In between, as I said, there are multiple various types.
Okay.
So most commonly used are 10, 20, and 40.
Okay. 10, 20, 40.
40. Most
All
common.
right.
You can check in your system what are the strategies used, because if you are using configuration configurable materials, then it's a different ballgame. So where
In
even,
MARC?
yeah, MARC. I think it is HTPRS already. All MRPs in MARC. STRGR.
STRGR. Okay, I'll let you know once it's loaded.
So 40 is depending on what you do. And next year, important thing is your availability check. Availability check is basically determines when the MRP is being run, how should the stocks be checked? There's a list of configuration. I mean, it's important to see that configuration for you. I will quickly show that configuration. Without that, it is very difficult to explain. Production.
So for strategy group, I see 10, 30, 50, and 0. And some are blank and also Z2.
Oh, that's a custom.
Yeah. So 0 is
There's no planning.
no, okay, no planning. And 10,
Make to
you
stop.
said we is mostly used.
Make
to stop. And then 30.
Production by lot
Production
size.
by lot size.
Yeah. And
50.
planning without final assembly. Remember what I explained. So you basically, with irrespective of the order, you assemble, go to the final assembly. Only after you get the order, then you do the final assembly. You stop at the last stage of the assembly. Like say, if you have 6 levels of assembly, you do for irrespective of the order, you do 5 levels of assembly. Only after you get the order, then you do the 6th final assembly.
And there are many with Z2. I am not sure what Z2 is, but there are many with Z2 also.
Z to assembly with process ones.
So Z2 is dependent
Oh,
requirement in make to stock consumption
that's some
in our system. That is
that,
custom. Yeah.
technically that going by the description, 40 is the equivalent of that.
Okay, okay,
Just
okay.
going by the description. I don't know if they have changed something.
It's
So
make to stock
yes.
consumption.
Uh-huh.
That is for this
No,
40.
yes, 40. Planning so I'll tell you what that is. See, 10 also is made to stock, 40 also is made to stock.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I'll tell you
And
the
for
difference.
dependent requirement?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll tell
Okay.
you what it means. But just going by the description, that's what it means. But they might have done some change. Otherwise, they wouldn't have created a customer. They would have used 40 itself.
Okay.
Right. So some configuration change would have done. Where is this availability check? Master data, MRP types, MRP units. Availability check. In demand management, diversion planning strategy, strategy group, planning, MRP calculation, base calculation, calculation. So it's versus evaluation. Okay, let's the same configuration is in sales also. Let's do that.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Can you search again for availability check? You missed A earlier. Okay, it's here.
It's here.
Yeah. I also see it in basic functions. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. It is both in sales
Yes.
and this thing. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Checking groups. Okay, so okay, here it is going to be different. I think carry out control for availability. So what it is that when the system is during the MRP, the first thing is whether the check has to be done for the daily requirements or individual requirement, which means that when you run the MRP, so at the end of the day, should it consolidate all the requirements per day and then plan? Or say, for example, there might be scenarios where people might be running 2 or 3 MRPs a day. I mean, in case they are running, then what happens? You do a individual requirement.
Okay.
Individual requirement, right? So now when they're doing it, what should the system consider? Which stock should it consider? Should it include the safety stock? Should it include the stock in transfer also as available? Should it include the quality inspection stock also as available stock? What are the different stock types it should consider as available? What are the different document types it should consider as expected goods receipts? Purchase order, open purchase, dependent requirement, reservation, sales requirement, including deliveries. So this particular rule, this is a big topic by itself. So availability check here 02 for you to understand at a high level is that what are the different stock the system should consider when you are running the MRP as available stock. And then as a default, unrestricted stock is always available as a default. So that is why you don't see the unrestricted use stock here. Now, do you want to include the quality inspection stock also as available stock? Which means that when do you do that? For a particular material, you know that the rejection levels are very low, or for this thing, then you can include the qualities, because quality stock in the quality inspection is awaiting the inspection. You don't know whether it's going to get approved or not approved. Correct? It can get rejected also. Now, if you make it as available while MRP is running, it is say, for example, there is 100 in unrestricted stock, then there is 50 in the quality inspection, then system will assume there is 150 in stock. So all these parameters are basically set up behind this each key. 02. Okay, so depending on, again, this is the job of because this also involves SD. So generally, this is one of the big integrations between SD and PP, wherein how does the transfer of requirement happen? And this strategy group defines how does the transfer of requirement happens from sales, and when you create a sales order, the information has to go to production planning, right? So this strategy group also does that. So if you see 00, you are saying it is very clearly saying that there is no requirement transfer. Neither there is planning, nor there is, what does the requirement transfer means? When a sales order is created for this material, the requirement has to be transferred to the production. So there is something called the transfer of requirement. So these two are the most important fields from the SD and PP integration perspective. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was responding. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
I didn't know I was on mute.
So
Okay.
this is, as I said, planning, strategy, and this thing are the most important integration between the PP and SD. How it determines how the transfer of requirement done. I don't know if you heard the word ATP, available to promise. That's the most common word used in sales and distribution. When you create a sales order, ATP check, what is that? Available to, what is the quantity which is available to be promised to the customer? That is called ATP, available to promise.
Okay.
And these two fields basically play a very important role.
Yeah.
Next, let's go to the next one. Okay, this is the strategy group. Availability check. Okay, then one thing they're not explained is the total replenishment lead time. Now, imagine you have like a 10 level of BOM, but what should happen when you know the BOM, right? Bill of materials, we'll cover it. So we'll have multiple.
Yes.
You will have multiple materials on it, multiple levels on it. So each one will have its own lead time to procure. Correct? So there are 20 materials, which means that each material will have its own lead time. Now you can add the lead time for each material. When the MRP runs, it is going to basically look at all the this thing and do that. Or if you do not want that, you simply say my total replenishment lead time is 30 days, which means that
lead time will be extra days.
No. This is see, when you in MRP 2, if you do here, what did we see? We said that, say for example, this is a component 1, right? Under finished good, it's a component 1. Let's say we have a planned delivery time of 5 days. Now you have component 2 that has let's say you have a component that has a lead time of 3 days. Now, similarly, each component under the finished goods has a certain amount of lead time. Now, for the system to find out how much time does it take to manufacture, it has to add up all the lead times of all the components, right? For the finished product to be manufactured, it has to add up the lead time of all the components, correct?
Okay, for all the components, the total time that it will take for production?
Correct.
Okay.
For the finished goods to be manufactured, she should add up all the time for the components, and then say the finished goods is going to take 25 days or 30 days.
If it's an assembly, if the material is an assembly, it will have multiple components. But if
Exactly.
it's a component, then it will be total time for the production of that component, right?
Exactly. So
Okay.
all those comes into picture. Now, if you do not want to do that, if you do not, because more often or not, you will not have the data also for that. So instead of that, if you want to say, forget all those things, I will say, irrespective of what type this thing, I will say the total replenishment lead time is 30 days. So I don't enter the lead time for the individual component.
Okay.
I don't enter the lead time of any component for me to manufacture this finished good. What we are talking about is a finished good, right? So for to manufacture this finished good, I will take 30 days.
Okay.
If you do not want to enter the lead time of the assembly, lead time of the components and all those things, and you say that overall, you basically, your total replenishment lead time is so much. I know that I can manufacture this in 30 days.
Okay.
Remember, this is the finished product. So either you give the lead time for individual component and assembly in the material master, while doing the MRP system rolls up all those things and arrives at, okay, it takes 30 days, 45 days to manufacture this finished product. Or you don't enter anything there and simply put the total replenishment time.
Okay.
So that what you are telling the system is we're going to take 30 days to manufacture this. Don't worry about the components and all those things. We know if we can have that in place.
Okay.
Okay, so two options SAP. This is the most commonly used because see, remember in the complicated BOM, I mean during the data, while the data entry, you don't know what is multiple vendors are supplying. Each vendor is going to take their own time. So you might not be in a position to put the date for every individual component. What is the lead time, correct? Assembly you can do because you are manufacturing it in-house, so you know how much time it takes.
Okay.
But here, so this is more commonly used, this thing is the total replenishment lead time.
Okay.
Okay. Checking room. MRP 4. MRP 4. Not much here. So two important things are here. You have something called as a discontinuation indicator.
Okay.
All right.
When we are stopping the.
Correct.
Okay.
And you can give effective date and what is the follow-up material also. When you run the MRP, it will check and it will discard it. Production versions.
So follow-up material will be the replacement part?
Correct.
Okay. It can be blank also if we are not going to use at all.
Either you leave it blank, completely blank, or if you enter a discontinuation indicator, some value here. Right now, if you leave it blank, it is saying that single parallel discontinued part material, dependent parallel discontinued material is that you are going to use it parallelly for some time, and you stop something this thing, you are not going to stop the use of a particular material and start using this thing. Now, if you're leaving it blank, which means that you're not using this functionality.
Okay.
Blank means you are not interested in using this functionality. That will take care of it manually or changing it in the BOM or whatever. These are all heavy material master maintenance items.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, right? But somebody has to really monitor it. That's one of the reasons why people don't use this high maintenance. Then you have this MRP dependent requirement, or the first we'll go to component scrap. There we saw the assembly scrap. Here we are seeing the component scrap. So there are two kinds of scraps, right? While the component is being used, component by itself gets scrapped, or component when being used in the assembly, it is getting scrapped. Right? When I say component, yeah.
So if this material master is for an assembly, then the component scrap will refer to what?
No, you don't enter anything. Leave it blank.
Okay.
Then you in this thing you have the assembly scrap I showed you.
Yeah, yeah.
You enter that. So you don't enter. It's not that it's mandatory. It's just option. So depending on the
Okay.
type
If
of
it's
this.
depending on the type of material,
Yes.
if it is component, we maintain it here. Otherwise, in the MRP one view.
Correct.
Okay.
The
Fine.
MRP dependent requirements is basically saying that irrespective of the higher level requirement, keep planning this material, or you always plan with respect to materials for dependent requirement are planned, which means that if it is a component, for example, this will be this is a finished good. Suppose if this is a component, obviously it will have a finished good above that, as an assembly or a finished good. So if you leave it blank, materials for dependent requirements are planned, which means that if there is a finished product and there is a requirement for finished product, if this is a component, then to the extent of BOM quantity, you plan the material. You're telling the system to, if you use one, which is, I don't know why this will be used, materials for different requirements are not planned. I mean, I don't know, unless you're using some phantom assembly or something, you do that. So that is generally we leave it blank, because when there's a requirement for the finished product, obviously you need to plan for the dependent items anyways.
So what are the phantom assemblies? I hear this term a lot. Phantom and the chassis.
Yeah, phantom assembly is something in a BOM is a placeholder.
Sorry?
Is a placeholder.
Placeholder.
That material by it, because what happens when you want to create a BOM, right? You have to have one header material and line items, correct?
Say it again.
When you have to create a bill of material, you need to have a header item and a line item.
Yes.
Right? So now there are going to be situations wherein you do not have a header material, or you do not want to stock the header material. You do not want to plan this thing, but still under that you want to plan. So what you do is you call it as phantom. So when you call it as phantom in the bill of material, system is not going to plan for the phantom, the header level. It's going to plan only for the components.
Components. Okay.
It's just a placeholder.
Okay. Got it.
It's a placeholder.
So chassis is the same. Chassis.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So you don't want to keep that into stock or whatever. Then you basically, because that's simply a name. Chassis is simply a name. Correct?
Okay.
So you don't, you're not, if you do not, I'm just taking an example. So if you do not want to stock it, then you make it as a phantom. But under that, you have 10 component system will not plan for the chassis, but will plan for the 10 different items.
Okay.
It's just a placeholder.
All right.
Okay. And then you have this selection. But how should the BOM be selected when the bill of material is created? See, bill of material. See, BOM you can basically create in multiple things based on, say, for example, based on the quantity, order quantity, selection by explosion date, selection by production version, selection only by production. So now when you create a BOM, you can basically, the first thing what you give is the validity period, right? So now when the system runs the MRP for the requirement date, find the BOM which is in that. You can have multiple versions of BOM, right? So if you have multiple versions of BOM, find the BOM which is within the validity of the requirement date. That is what is selection by explosion date.
Okay.
Selection by production version. I'll come to that later. Production version is a different topic. I'll explain it in detail. To understand production version, we have to understand the BOM and the routings. Right? So generally we leave it blank. So this thing. Then individual and collective indicator. So here you say basically for each one of them individual requirements you calculate. For each order, you calculate individually and give a separate purchase requisition. Or you basically say, collect all the requirements for a particular MRP and you give the total requirements. So whether you want to generate individual or collective, the most commonly used is 2. Because if 10 times a sale order came, correct, in a day. Now, if you use 1, then what happens is, and when you run the MRP, system is going to generate 10 plan orders. Okay. Whereas if you use 2, it is going to club all the sales orders and come up with 1 plan order.
Okay.
Okay. So these are the key fields in the MRP views. A lot of control functions out here. And, PP, and this is something, this particular views in the PP requires, I mean, especially during the implementation, requires a lot of understanding of the present requirement, because this can basically get into a overstock situation or understock situation if you don't do it correctly.
Yeah. Okay. If we click on these average plant stock button and material memo button,
Yeah.
where does it take? What are these for?
This simply shows the average stock, what is being. No average stock has been maintained for long. This is for long-term planning. Long-term planning is, I think, is almost
Forecast.
no. Long-term planning is almost discontinued. Long-term planning is a simulative planning of MRP. It's as good as running a MRP, but it is not going to create any proposals.
So it is not for forecasting?
No.
Long term?
No. Long-term planning is, name is misleading, but that's what it is.
Okay, it's not used anymore.
Very few, because there are a lot more better advanced tools now for simulation. It's just a simulation.
Okay.
It is like running MRP, doing everything like MRP, but it is not going to create any procurement proposals. So just to, before running the MRP, if you want to see, that was the purpose. But now, basically, if you see what if scenarios.
Okay.
Right?
And the material memo?
It's just a memo. Right?
So the text field. Okay.
Text.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to pass a message or something.
All right.
Do this. Now we'll go to the work scheduling. No, we're not so good. So what MRP, as I said, MRP1, MRP2, MRP3, MRP4, basically is this thing, completely related to planning. Work scheduling view is related to the execution part of production planning. When I say execution, from the time the production order is created till the time the goods come into the final goods come into the stock, that is the execution.
Okay.
So I think they are not maintained this thing. Okay, let's save this. Let's create the work scheduling.
So we see a tab for that also, work scheduling?
Yes, because they are not maintained for this material. So that's why you're not seeing. Here, work scheduling. Okay. The key fields which are being used are, one is the production supervisor. Production supervisor is the, by definition, the person or a supervisor who was responsible for the production of this material. MRP controller is the person who is responsible for planning that material. Whereas production supervisor is the person who is responsible for the production of this particular material at the shop floor. Okay. Then you have this production storage location. What it means that if you default a particular location, what this means is anytime you are doing a goods receipt or a goods issue, system will default this particular storage location. In your
I don't remember any time that I used work scheduling tab.
Can you check?
I haven't.
I mean, if you look at your effort, if you look at filter your materials by FERT, and all the FERTs, whatever is being
materials,
whatever you're manufacturing now should have the work scheduling. Without that, you cannot do a production order.
And the material type will be in Mara, right?
Mara, correct.
Material type. Okay. We have FERT materials. 1 second. FERT is finished product.
Correct.
And so for FERT, what do I have to check?
Just that you were asking something, right? What
For
was
work
it? Whether
scheduling.
the work scheduling view is maintained.
Okay.
You need to find
This
out
is
the letter for work scheduling view. What is that? Each view has some letter, right? A, V, and all those things.
so this is strange. I do not see any FERT materials in Mara table.
Or maybe you use the custom one.
Okay. Let me check if we have anything with Z. Z, we have many Z, but I don't see description for okay. FG.
FG, correct.
FG will be for finished goods, right?
100.
Yes, we have that.
See, I'll tell you 1 minute. So 570. What is the nomenclature for?
Okay, we have very few materials for FG.
Okay.
Just 147.
Interesting. So manufacturing activity doesn't happen much.
What doesn't happen?
Manufacturing activity.
No, it happens.
Okay.
So we have FG. So for Z also we have many like Z doc, that is document BOM, miscellaneous import MPN, miscellaneous import PPN. Then LTP. LTP is long-term planning BOM material.
Okay.
Then miscellaneous material HNS. Then model numbers, reconditioned finished good, reconditioned HALB, HALB, reconditioned raw, and use materials.
So what I'm trying to find out is what is the, like, see, each view has this letter, right, assigned to it. So we need to, each view has, so we need to find out what, which one, because this particular material has all the views maintained.
Okay. VPSTA, that field will be in Mara only?
Yeah. Mara only. But only thing is I need to find out what, how is work scheduling be represented, what letter is used for that. Somewhere in the configuration it is there. Here
so,
it is.
HERS material is not, is it standard HERS material?
HERS is standard, yes. HRD
and also, okay, we have lot of HERS and the Z's also.
What is HERS? Description of that HERS? Manufacturer parts, yeah. Okay. Manufacturer parts, yeah, that's standard, is it?
HERS, FG, prod, ZMod, help, DIN, DIN, ZRFG,
DIN is service.
Okay, okay. Then ZRFG, ZRHA, TRDG, then again, then ZRRW, ZDoc, ZLTP, Z miscellaneous, VERP, VERP.
VERP is packaging.
Packaging, okay. Then ZUM. These are the 16 types that are maintained.
So we'll really understand that what is the reason behind each one of them. Here it is. Right. So these are the nomenclature for each one of them. So work scheduling is where is work scheduling?
It's there, 16.
16 is A.
A. So A class.
Yeah. Don't go by the material type, just filter it by A.
For VRSTA?
No, don't take out the material type. And in Mara, only filter by VT, VSTAT and A value. So that You will know.
VT, which field is that again? VT,
Which field?
VS,
One minute. What is the field name?
VTSTA.
VPSTA. VPSTA.
No, I don't see that. Okay, I see it. Okay. VPSTA. Combine, maintain status. So filter it for A, right?
Yeah.
Or A star something. Just A is fine.
Just A is fine. That will show the work scheduling. How many materials have work scheduling be maintained?
No, then I don't see anything because it should be star A, or because it's a whole string, right?
But try
This
PSTAT.
I am trying to look for star A star now to see. VPSTA is a string, correct? So then we'll miss. I see KC now. When I search for A star, then I see a lot.
Okay. Fine.
But
Yeah,
it's like KCD, EB, GVLSA.
so which means that those are the materials which have your work scheduling.
Okay.
Right? So those are the materials for which the production activity is happening.
Okay.
That is what it says. So irrespective, so which means that it's not only for the FG your production activity is happening, even for the other the production
But
activities.
some materials are like pretty old. I don't think for those materials the production will be on even now. Some are like materials that we don't even use material names anymore.
But then they would have created it
In the past.
Yes, they would have created it. Once it is created, you cannot undo it.
Okay.
Because views is something in SAP. Once you create it, it's done. You cannot undo it.
Okay, so maybe in the past they were maintained, but I'll open one of these new material type and see for work scheduling tab. Okay, yes. Plan 1000. Yes, I see work scheduling tab, and
it has to
there
be
is and some details maintained in it.
Okay, so then the production scheduler. Then you have this thing. The other important field is the plant status material, wherein if you want to temporarily block a material for some reason, you can block it. Say, for example, you want this material to be blocked to be used in the bill of material. So all these reasons are done, and then it's obsolete material. You don't want anybody to use it. So, or you want to do a temporary block. Say, for example, typically in the design, suppose if design is also part of your SAP system. So, the moment the design of a particular material starts, so if they create a material master, till the time the actual it is come to this thing, you don't want anybody to use it. Or for example, this particular material is having a lot of quality issues. You don't want this to be used till the whole issue is sorted out. So you can define.
So this material status, it's all custom,
configurable standard.
But it's not and no standard. I mean, configurable, but all maintained custom, or just Z1 is custom.
Till 99 is standard.
I don't see any of these, like ours year and mine doesn't match at all.
Okay.
I see I1 is not there in years at all.
Oh, then so which means that they have completely see one thing for sure I know is that 01 to 99 is standard SAP.
Okay. Then
Which,
the alphabets are
not standard. Yeah, I've never seen this before. Z anyway is it? See, sometimes now what happens is, I mean, this is some wrong practice which has been followed. is that some of the consultants, what they do is they delete the standard values and create a new one, which is a very wrong practice.
Right, right.
So maybe that is what has happened.
But
Because
I am just referring to one material. In F4, I don't see
so
any
that's
of
it.
0, 1, 2, 90.
Correct. No. If you don't see it for one material, it is not there for anyone. That configuration
Right.
itself is not there. Correct. It's not there in the
Yeah,
table at all.
it's not there.
It's not there in the table.
Okay.
Right. So which means the chances are that the person has deleted the standard and created all new ones, which is not an ideal practice. I've
Okay.
seen a lot of things that happens.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, when you say inspection stock, if you have activated quality management for production, when you receive the goods, it always has to go to the inspection stock. You can basically put it here. And then you have this lot size dependent parameters. Again, this is the time. Say, for example, how do you basically, for let's say, if for 1,000 base quantity, if you can basically say a very generic time that in-house production time for this finished product is 10 days, or you can go by the base quantity, right? So as the quantity increases, generally the time decreases, correct? Because first time when you're doing, when you're starting, there's a setup time and all those things that might take some time. But once you are continuing, you don't have the setup time and the processing time if you want to use it. From the time perspective, this is basically again, how long does it take for the production of this material? You can simply stay at in-house production time, or you can go by lot size dependent, saying that for a lot of 1,000, it takes so much.
Okay.
If you want to do that. Or you can simply go by the in-house production.
Okay.
Okay, so these are the most important parameters in terms of work schedule. And material status. So production unit is basically, as I said, that base unit of measure is always pieces, correct, or numbers. Now, if you are manufacturing this thing in a different unit of measure, suppose the manufacturing activity, when you do it, I don't know, from the production perspective, is not applicable, but let's say instead of pieces, you come up with, at the end of the production, you come up with a box, right? You manage in pieces, but you basically, when the production happens, you pack it in a box and basically send it. Say, for example, I put it into a carton. Then system will ask you, one carton, how many pieces can it hold? Let's say 100 pieces. In case your base unit of measure and the production unit of measure is different, generally this doesn't happen in production, but this is very, very relevant in purchasing.
Okay.
Because you basically are going to manage it this thing, but say, for example, take the typical example of a bearing. Now the vendor is going to basically say that he's going to supply the box of 24, set of 24, whereas we are going to manufacture as individual, each bearing as one. So in that case, you say each box contains 24, so system manages it across the system. So the same is available in production. However, generally in production, we don't use it much, but in procurement, it is used very well.
Okay.
Production supervisor. Do you use serial numbers?
Yes.
Okay. So here you basically say whether, I think it is not here. I think it's in the, where is it? Serial number? Why not I see the serial number here? Serial number profile. So here you basically give the serial number profile. How should the serial number be generated? Whether it should be generated automatically, whether it should be generated manually given. So all those parameters are basically set up in the configuration. So for the system to be relevant for serial numbers, the serial number profile has to be activated.
Okay.
If a serial number profile is activated, then when at the time of goods receipt or this thing, so the first time when you receive the goods, system is going to ask you for the serial number, and across the system, across its life cycle, it will manage it with the serial number, with the history and all those things. So for that to work, The serial number profile is available in the storage location view. The same serial number profile can be done at sales view. Because if some organization is doing a trading and they don't have manufacturing, then that serial number profile is activated in the sales.
Okay.
The sales serial number is activated here. Whether batch management is active. Again, this is in purchasing and this is again in production. Serial number and batch management. So these are the basic flags we need to do for those functionalities to be triggered. If the serial number has to be triggered, the serial number profile has to be done. If batch management has to be triggered, then batch management has to be activated.
Okay.
Then is the tolerance data. Tolerance data is if there's something called as a under delivery tolerance and over delivery tolerance. What does this mean? Is that if you create a production order of 100, then especially in the process industries or chemical industries, let's say you create a production order for like 100 liters of some chemical this thing. So obviously your output will not be exactly 100 liters because especially in process industries where it happens in the process that you might end up with 105 or you might end up with 95, correct? So if you end up with 105, system will never allow you to make a goods receipt of 105 because production order is for 100.
Okay.
Now, if the output is 95 liters and you know that 5 liters is not going to come because production order got closed, but from system perspective, that production order will be open.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
In those situations, you allocate a under delivery and a over delivery tolerance. So how does that work? If you basically give an under delivery tolerance of 5%, if the production order is 100, right? And if you first shot itself you receive 96, then system is going to close the production order.
Okay.
Okay, because it knows that no further the receipts are expected. Similarly, if you do over delivery tolerance of 5, which first shot you make 102, system is going to, it will allow first thing, it is going to allow a goods receipt above 100. Okay. Then the next part is if you make a first shot itself, you make a goods receipt of 102. Then it is going to close the production order. It is not going to allow you to go till 105.
Okay.
Okay. Whatever over delivery you do above 100 for the first time, it will close it.
Okay.
So in those scenarios, you use the under delivery and the over delivery tolerance.
Okay.
Okay. So then you have unlimited. Obviously, we don't use it, which means that there is no limit. Even if it is 100, then you will, even if you receive 100,000, it will accept. Obviously, you will never use this. Wherein you say unlimited, then there is no limit. So if the option is given, but generally not used. So this is under delivery, the old delivery tolerance. Lot sales result. Okay. Now, basic material master is done. So, look at is MRP1, MRP2, MRP3, MRP4, part of the planning, data with respect to planning, and work scheduling, data with respect to execution.
Okay.
Right. So, we have just completed the material master setup for the production activity to happen.
Yeah.
Now we'll move to the bill of materials. Bill of materials, as the name indicates, is simply the list of components which are required to manufacture a particular finished good, assembly, or a semi-finished good. Now, there are two types of bombs. One is a flat bomb, another is multi-level bomb. Flat bomb is that it has no second level. There's only one level of bomb. So you have a header material here. Under that, all the other assemblies or sub-assemblies are listed here. That is called a flat bomb. Whereas, if you see this indicator here as A, what you see here, which means that each one of them have an assembly behind it. That is a multi-level bomb.
Okay.
Okay. So flat bomb and multi-level bombs are the two levels of bombs. Generally, it is used in the bill of material, and it is simply the list of components which are required to manufacture a particular finished product or a semi-finished product or an assembly.
Okay.
SAP allows you alternative bombs. You can have any number of, I think I go up to 99 alternative bombs for different scenarios. Say for one, it may be bigger lot size or any other reason, you can basically use the alternate bomb based on lot size, value, it's a different production method. So each for one material, you can have multiple versions of bomb. SAP calls it as alternative. Same material number, you can have alternative bombs, which are nothing but the multiple versions of a bomb.
Okay.
Okay. That is purely from the planning perspective. So from the costing perspective, BOM is used to find out the standard cost of a particular finished product. Because to arrive at the standard cost, one of the parameter is all the cost of the input materials. Right? So arrive at the standard cost, what do you require? You need the basic material cost, manufacturing cost, what are the manufacturing costs, and then what are the overheads, right? The three components put together will determine what is the standard cost of a material. I'm talking, see now in PP when I'm talking purely about finished product.
Okay.
Okay, which is assembled or manufactured. So we're not talking about any raw materials. As we go to the bill of material, we look at right now, a BOM is created for a material which is manufactured and which has multiple components. So BOM is also used to determine the standard cost. So the controlling team is going to take the bill of material, and then there are programs where it is going to roll up all the costs of the components and basically come up and suggest this is the actual cost of the materials only. Then you have the other costs like overheads and manufacturing costs. So BOM is also used in costing. So BOM also can be used, is also used in bill of materials or equipment BOM for a particular equipment also in plant maintenance module. So that it's also used in PM module to determine the equipment also if there is a BOM. These are some of the high level features of a BOM. Let's see now. What we'll have to do is to create a BOM, we need some materials, correct? So what we will do is we will take this material. I will not spend too much of time on creating the materials. /n SC60. MAST is the header table for BOM. Okay, 100. This standard is 100. CS01 is to create, CS02 is to change.
Yeah.
Let's quickly look at this before then what I'll do is I'll come to the problem.
Okay.
This doesn't have who was fine. This. So what we'll do is we will just copy this into it. So we'll copy 100 and 100 and create one new material, replica of this. Since it is a standard material, I'm assuming all the required MRP views and everything will be entered. Fine. Let's go with fine. The problem is finding the so we'll go to basic data, or we'll go by 200. We'll go by extra 200. This is a finished code. Okay, that's fine. Basic data. We don't need sales, so MRP1, MRP2, MRP3, MRP4, work scheduling, plan, data, counting work. 3,000. 600. So let's see what SAP has done. So PD is the MRP type, what we discussed. EX lot to lot. Then procurement type, you have said X, we'll change it to E. In-house production type, they have said, because they had put X, they had used both the in-house and the planned delivery type. So I'm going to take out this. Scheduling margins, key of 001. Okay, we'll take this out. We don't need this. Planning, general planning strategy, we'll change it to 40 because we'll use this material for everything, which is made to stock to individual work scheduling view. We don't need the production version for right now. We'll delete it for right now. Nothing there. We can enter this. Generally, work scheduling view is like purchasing view, except this, we don't generally enter anything much. Production supervisor, because that's a very good reporting field. Production supervisor.
Okay.
Accounting. Okay, fine. So we did 200 by 200. So what we'll do is we will now create a block CS01. Right, 200 by 300. So
yeah,
plant is 3,000. So you create a bill of material for a particular plant. The same material can have a different bill of 200-200 can have a different BOM in a plant, different plant also. Right? So the BOM what we are creating is basically here. BOM, you say, for what are you creating it? Are you creating it for production? Only if it is created for production, it will be available for production activity. If you mark it as engineering and design, this cannot be adopted in the production order.
Okay.
Okay. Universal, if you say it's available for everything.
Okay.
So depending on what you say, for example, costing can have, yeah.
What's the most common that we use here?
Production.
Production.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless if engineering design,
it's when in the manufacturing team.
No, it's the engineering team. If the engineering team is creating the bill of materials in SAP, then you use it because that is still work in progress, right? So they are trying to figure out the right thing. So you don't want it the production to use it.
Yeah.
Right? In case the engineering team is creating a bill of material while they are developing a product, then they use this. So plant maintenance, sales and distribution, Sales and distribution also we use a BOM for kitting. So depending on the application, for production activity, you always use one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is pretty, now here is item category is important. What are the different item categories you have? You have a document item, which means it's just a document. PM structure, class item, where classification, stock item is the most common thing used. Then you have the phantom material. Then non-stock item, variable size, a text item. So the most commonly used, say for example, if you want to use, if you want to put a drawing also into your this thing, if you want to put non-stock also, because moment it is non-stock, system cannot plan it, correct? Because there's no stock. So the system doesn't know what is the stock for it to plan. So just for your information sake, you would like to use it, you can put everything into stock, but then the BOM becomes very big. So most commonly used is the stock.
Okay.
What we'll do is we will copy this components. We will not spend time on creating the components. Okay, here is the component number and how much is required for to manufacture this 200-200, right? How much of each one of them are required? That's what we are saying. So this is the header. We call this as the header item of the BOM. This we call as the line item of the BOM. Sorry, components of a BOM.
Okay.
Right? I'll give some number. Let's see. Let's go to the BOM. It's a realistic slash. So what is it? Yes, done. Slash CS03 100-100. 118, all are pieces. Oh, how come? Did I change the description? I did, right? 100-100, it says casing, but when I do here, it is saying green paint.
That is 200-200.
No, but I copied it from 100-100.
Okay.
What changed? Why did it? I didn't change
Okay.
There is one minute. Because it was paint, I got confused. Then it should have been some liters or something. Then if I see here, it is showing as compound, spiral casing, flat gasket.
Yes.
That was, let's see, why did that happen? 02. Yes, I don't remember changing. See, 200 is great. Now let's see, slash 03. And base unit of measure is kg. Did I copy the log? No, let's see 100-100. Maybe I copied the log. Maybe I copied the log.
Oh.
Okay, let's quickly MM 01. 100-100.
Can you clear it off and then click space bar? No, just space bar. Yeah, 100-100 in your search list.
Let me check now. What? Now it is coming casing.
Is it different?
Oh, I know what has happened.
Different
No, what has happened is
company code or
no. It
plant.
looks like 200-200 is already available.
Okay.
So when they created the view, whatever view was not created, it created it.
Okay.
Oh, that's what happened. So because the moment they left it blank, no, like 67. Now you can see. Now you can
Understood.
see. So looks like whatever view was not maintained, it maintained.
Right.
2000. Okay, fine. Now in this case. Work scheduling. Okay. Okay. Now it should be fine.
Mhm.
Sorry. So slash n CS01 70 material slash n CS03 100 dash 100 118. So quantity, each one of them, this is one of them, one of this component is required, one of this component is required, and 8 of this component
8.
is required.
Yeah.
That's what we are saying.
Mhm.
Okay. So basic bill of materials is, so this is a straight flat BOM. There are no further components basically under this particular material. Now,
Mhm.
suppose I would say that for spiral casing, there are another, this becomes a, this is a subassembly by itself. It has another 5 components. Then what we do is we create a BOM for 100-110. So if I go to, then what I do is I save this first. And then I go to CS01 and I create a BOM for 100-110. Because what I'm saying
Mhm.
is 100-110 by itself has a assembly.
Mhm.
The only thing is we need to figure out something. Let's see. What is the best way to find out? Time. Or the best thing is let's go to MAST and pick up. Let's see, 100 dash. Even this doesn't possible. SAP has never created a multi-level standard SAP. I'm just trying to reduce my time in creating the materials.
Mhm.
Okay, that's okay. So we'll select some random materials.
Okay.
Slash n CS01 100-110. Now what we do is we'll listen. We'll go by plant.
Yeah.
We'll try to figure out the closest one we can. Bearing is one generally. Let's say 2 numbers. Okay, good. Let's pick up one more. We'll go with fan. Let's say 4. Sorry, fan build will be 1. Okay. So now if I save this, I created a BOM for 100-110. Now if I go back to the main one, which is 70 CS02, now we will, sorry, 70, right? Slash it CS02. 70 was our original one. You see a tick mark as assembly. This
Yes.
indicates that there is one more level of BOM behind this.
Yeah.
Double click on this and continue. And this is how during the MRP
Okay.
also SAP, this is called the BOM multi-level BOM explosion.
Okay.
Okay, so the most common report which is used, I don't know if you used the CS11, I think.
Yes.
CS11. So
CS11.
and two more. I think there are 2 or 3 more multi-level.
Yes. CS15.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it will basically come back and show level by level bombs.
Yeah.
Right? This is the multi-level bomb. Now, the next thing is going to be your alternative bomb. What is this alternative bomb? Now, if I go and create a bomb, try to create a bomb for this 70 again, what does the system do? System creates an alternative bomb. It gives a number. Now, if I hit enter, see, the first one you create, SAP default allocates alternative one. There's no 0, right? What is the first alternative? That its system says alternative 2 bomb added. Okay.
Yep.
Now enter. Now you can enter your own. For let's enter some materials here. 70. It can be the same. Let's say go by material by plan, material by description. It cannot be drastically different. There may be some material there, not there. And say, for example, you are doing a particular thing for a imported for a foreign market and a local market. Say for a foreign market, there is a separate set of things which has to be given, correct? Which has to be there for that. So those are some of the cases where you use an alternative bomb. So the material number is the same. However, when you are manufacturing it for a different set of market, you have a different set of requirements. The most common reason why a alternative bomb is used. I say. Now, if I come and look at CS02, the first screen, you will see this. You won't see the bomb. It is going to ask you which one do you want to see. There's alternative 1, there's alternative 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So double click on this alternative 1, it will take you here to the bomb.
Okay.
And you double click on the 2, then it basically goes here.
Got it.
So this is our alternative bomb box. Now, there's few other features at the detail level. Say, for example, if I double click on this, it takes to some this thing. So even at the bomb level, you can give the operation. Here, you are giving the operation scrap. Even at this particular, say for example, the same material might have, see, the material master, you give a scrap in terms of assembly or component. But then what happens is that becomes applicable for the irrespective of where that material is used, that scrap becomes common. Whereas if you give this at the bill of material level, which means that the component scrap for this particular material is applicable only for this bill of material.
Okay.
Then all those scraps, whether co-product, I don't know whether you use. So co-product is basically specifically in chemical industry. What happens is co-product and byproduct is that while you do a finished product, while you do the manufacturing, there's one more new component which comes as part of the output. Chemical, you mix two chemicals and you get to, you are expecting one final product, but whereas with that some other thing also comes out. If those kind of things are there, then you say it's a co-product.
Okay.
If it is a phantom material, special equipment, a few details are there, then you can give long text in terms of if you want to write some details in terms of description as to whatever this is. This is basically, you can write all the text.
Okay.
So these are some of the basic features of a bill of material. So it's basically two types of bomb, flat bomb and multi-level bomb. So flat bomb is just a list of components. And I think that's the US. Okay, the company. Okay, so the flat BOM is basically the single level BOM. There are no multi-level BOMs, and you can have an alternative BOMs in terms of how many ever alternatives you can have. Depending, one of the alternatives is basically, if you see, based on the lot size also. Say for example, if you go here, sorry. The header level. Slash CS01. I create one more. Alternative 3 is added. Somewhere there is a lot size where you can put, based on the lot size, you can have it different. If the lot size of manufacturing is 1,000, then one BOM is applicable. If a lot size of the production order is say 10,000 above, a different different BOM can be made applicable. That's also one of the
Okay.
reason why the alternative is created. Not finding that. Who's that? So this can be 1,000.
Okay. Okay.
That says 1 to 10,000.
Okay.
Now, if you say this, and now if you come and look at CS02, you can see this particular 3 is for 1 to 10,000.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons, one of the other reasons why a alternative is created.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this 20. Yeah. So I think this should be it for this class. So we covered material master and BOM. PP is very master data extensive.
Yes,
so
yes.
then we have the work center, then we have the routing. Okay, I think they have basically started, work center, the routing, and then we have the demand management planning. And once we do this, then we'll do the planning, and then we'll start doing the MRP runs and see the impact of how the system plans with the various parameters.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So we'll
All right.
catch up next Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
Thank you for attending the session. I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Also, feel free to ask your questions in the comment section below, and we will reply to them at the earliest.